Hello everyone, it's Fernando, and today's video is going to be a comparison on two of the Road Rippers police K9 SUVs. So as you can see, there's two of them obviously. Here's an original one, which started off as a Ford Expedition, and this is the current body style of the police K9 SUV. But we're going to start off with the Ford Expedition since this one was made first, so here we go. The Ford Expedition was introduced in 2005 when it was in the 12-inch Rush and Rescue series, but the K9 version wasn't introduced yet until 2006 when it had the box that had Rip, the mascot of Road Rippers, in it. So yeah. So as you can see, it started off as an all original, meaning that it didn't have the the lettering fonts that this one currently has. So yeah, because like the one that originally started off, though the font was much different from what I can compare. So yeah, and if you take a look at the back closely, if you look at the one I have and then the one that's shown, you can see that there's a quite a bit of a difference with the two, because like, so you can see one says emergency 911 with the question mark when it says emergency, and if you look at mine, this one says emergency vehicle on it. So yeah, and then the police K9 sticker. Now the sticker on it was on the window, but also it has the 911 number on the bottom of the window. But on this one, the one I have, it does not, since this one's a 2008 to 2009 model. So yeah, but but during the time when the Ford Expedition was introduced, well, actually, whenever the Ford Expedition Road Rippers one was still in production, they ended up changing the fonts for the police K9, for the police in the police decal. So instead of having it with the thicker letter fonts, it had a slightly uh well, it's not that thick, it's not that thin, but it's like a decent size font. So like the C, for example, the edges are far apart from the one, as you can see. So yeah, this wasn't until like late 2007, or yeah, it was somewhere around late 2007 when they changed out the font. So it's been like this ever since. So yeah, so anyways, we're gonna take a look at the inside of the Ford Expedition. So here we go. Just to let you guys know, if you look under the Ford Expedition, it doesn't have like the printed copyright permission sticker on it. So this is Toy State's version of the Ford Expedition, along with their other fantasy cars, so like the Ford Crown Victoria Police Interceptor, Road Rippers, Born to Be Wild, Yamaha Maxims, and a couple others. So yeah. Well, here's the inside of the Road Rippers Police K9 Ford Expedition. So as you can see, as an original Road Rippers police vehicle, along with the Crown Victoria and Impala, the circuit board would look something like this. So the keypad would be on the top, and then the circuit board itself will be on the bottom of the battery compartment. But if you ever find one of those, it may not have a second screw. So mainly because the way it was constructed, I don't know how else to explain it, but it just appears to, from what I understand, it appears that that the the circuit board itself was too wide for the battery compartment to like fit in completely. I know for sure that the Crown Vic and Impala both will fit, so I'll show you the next one. You see, this is what I'm talking about. If you ever, like I said, if you ever get a Ford Expedition, you may not see that the second screw is right there, and like I said, that's because the circuit board, for some reason, is too wide for the battery compartment. Anyways, I'm gonna show you the next thing with the spotlight. So as you can see, the spotlight is obviously connected to the left side of the left headlights. So it would basically synchronize with the spotlight and the left headlight would synchronize together. But here, this is what I find really interesting. So Well, here's the spotlight that I'm talking about. So there are two green wires connected. So the bottom green wire is for the spotlight, and the upper green wire is for the left headlight. So I'll show you the next wire, what is also connected to the next wire. So you're not gonna believe where this is gonna be at. So I'll show you the next one. What I find really interesting about the Road Rippers Police K9 Ford Expedition, along with the newer body style Police K9 SUV, instead of the blue wire being connected to the other blue wire where the left headlight would be connected, it's connected to the yellow wires where basically it powers the emergency light bars. So yeah, but I don't know why they put it there. So if you guys can like tell me, anyone, so I would appreciate that. So yeah, but overall I think it's really interesting how they added a blue wire to the yellow lights where they basically connect to the emergency lights. So yeah, so technically those are the positive wires right there. If you take a look at the spotlights on both of these police K9 SUVs, on the Ford Expedition one, the spotlight itself, this part of it just comes off. So yeah, and then all you have right there is the incandescent light that's on the spotlight. So yeah, but then on the newer one, the LED is basically attached to the spotlight itself. So instead of just coming off separately, it just stays there. I mean, it does come off though, but just the LED is already basically inside the LED, inside the cap. So yeah, but now you guys pretty much know. So yeah, and oh yeah, and that would basically go for the same thing for the 2010 model of the police K9 SUV with the Ford Expedition leftover board. So this will come off as well too, and then the incandescent light would stay there. So if I can comprehend about it, but anyways, onto the newer body style of the police K9 SUV. So here we go. Well, here is the now but current body style of the Police K9 SUV, introduced in 2010 when the Road Ripper series went into the next generation, for the third time. So, yeah, so this is the third gen since this one's newer body style. But anyways, if you guys noticed before when these first came out in 2010, well, the redesign, you might have noticed that they've had a mix of incandescent lights and LEDs, and some models having like the ones with the all LEDs on it. But the reason, if you see those ones with the incandescent lights, that's because like those are leftover circuit boards from the previous model of the police K9 SUV, which is the Ford Expedition. So yeah, so if you've seen, it has the all incandescent lights. It's because like it's a leftover circuit board from the police K9 Ford Expedition. So yeah, but this design didn't. Well, they changed out the design for like this. Was a 1 year. If you look at the one on the image, like the police K9 SUV with the realistic light bars and the buttons in the back. If you see the image of it, now that was a 1 year thing only. And this was only for about a year until 2011 when they changed out the design. So like instead of just the realistic light bars and then the buttons in the back, they're basically combined together. So it's just a circuit board, and yeah. So I don't know how else to explain it, but yeah. But anyways, I'll show you the inside of the police K9 SUV. So yeah, and also I'll do the next comparison with the police sedan. So like the police Chevy Impalas and the Ford Crown Victoria police Interceptors. So yeah, I mean they basically have the same exact circuit board, but just pretty much so. There's a quite a bit of a difference. So basically I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a history on how it all started. So yeah, but anyways, sorry about the bed. Anyways, I'm gonna open up the police can SUV. So yeah, here we go. Here is the inside of the Road Rippers Police K9 SUV. So as you can see, instead of the circuit board being on top of the battery compartment and the keypad on the top, it's basically combined together. So yeah, the circuit board and the button keypads combined all together. So yeah, but if you guys take a look closely at the spotlight, so as you can see, it's soldered on a different part of the circuit board. So instead of the spotlight being soldered onto the left side of the left headlight, it's connected to somewhere else. I mean, it does the same thing as the left headlight would do, but it's just they're soldered in separately. So yeah, that kind of makes sense though if you think about it. But anyways, unlike this one, where the original one is, the spotlight, the wires would be connected to, well, the wire would be connected to the left headlight, but it would also be connected to the wires where they basically power up the emergency light bars. So yeah, let's take a look on the battery compartment top. Here's the top of the battery compartment. So as you can see, there are two screw holes for the circuit board. So this one, they made enough room for the circuit board. So if you ever get a 2010 version of the Police K9 SUV, you're going to see that there's two screws in it. That's because they finally had enough room for this one. So like the circuit board on the Expedition models, it was rather too wide for it to have an extra screw. So fortunately enough, they were able to make enough room. So yeah. Anyways, on to the next one. So which is the spotlight. So here we go. As you can see on the newer Police K9 SUV, the spotlight is held in by a screw this time. So instead of being held in by 4 tabs, it's held in by a screw. So guessing that they put a screw on it this time. So if a kid has the Ford Expedition and if they accidentally yank the spotlight out of the vehicle, then it's going to be rather difficult or somewhat difficult to put the spotlight back on. So yeah, so they made things a lot easier. So if you're like ever repairing the spotlight, then instead of just the 4 tabs, it's held in by a screw. So yeah, but if you're like moving it, make sure you loosen the screw a bit so it can move freely. Here is the spotlight to the Police K9 Ford Expedition. This is how they used to be held in. So it's hot glue holding in the spotlight. So if you just feel that if you can't move it really well, that's because the hot glue is so tight on the Police K9 Expedition. So yeah, but on the one I got, I removed the hot glue so that way I can like move it freely. So yeah, so I'm gonna show you what it looks like now. So this is what the spotlight basically looks like now. So yeah, so I already like remove all the hot glue off the spotlight, so it moves freely now. But there is a little bit of the hot glue left, which really isn't a big deal. All I care about is just the spotlight moving freely. So yeah, but now you guys know on how the spotlights on both of the K9 SUVs are held in. So yeah. Well, the 2010 to present day Police K9 SUV is back together, so yeah. But if you take a look closely at the Police K9 SUVs, the new one versus the old one, the older one, the Ford Expedition, has a lighter blue color, and if you look at the first stripe, it's a bronze color, while on the newer one, it's a darker blue, and also if you as well look at the first stripe, it's a gold color, so yeah. If you take a look at the Police K9 SUVs, the Ford Expedition, the dog itself is much more noticeable than the one on the newer one. So, yeah, because like you can barely see the dog on the newer one, but on the older one, you can see the dog really well. But besides that, if you look at the width of these two, the Ford Expedition is much wider than the newer Police K9 SUV. So, yeah, that's all I really have to say. So, thank you. But now you guys know the difference between the two Police K9 SUVs, the Expedition and the current body style of the Police K9 SUV. But simply on the process when I was opening the Ford Expedition, the red wire that connects to the button keypad ripped off, so I couldn't solder the wire back on because it was too short to solder it back. So what I ended up doing was I ended up getting another wire to extend the whole thing. So yeah. But now it works again. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this comparison with those two. So thank you for watching and bye.